Welcome to Being at Home with George, and I'm excited to be here today and to begin the way we normally begin, which is to create the possibility of being able to say yes to life and to generate the hope, which also means embracing whatever comes up, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, however we describe it or judge it. So I'd like to return to notice, relax, let go to NRL. This is part two. I want to talk a little bit more in depth about what some of these terms mean. So I'd like to start off with, what does it mean to notice? And so it's been my experience that wisdom begins in wonder. And so there's a definition of wonder that I'd like to share with you. So wonder I'm talking about is WONDER. I know I have a Boston accent and you maybe didn't catch that. So I want to make sure we're clear. Wonder is the unwilled willingness to meet what is utterly strange and what is most familiar. It is the willingness to step back and let things speak to us, a passive receptivity to let the things of the world present themselves in their own terms. And so this idea of passive receptivity, or being in the mood to learn, so it's coming from love or coming from a positive emotion or curiosity, interest, this kind of thing. So that when we talk about notice, it doesn't mean we notice just what's good and everything is good. It means we notice the pleasant, the unpleasant, the neither pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, the painful, the joyful, whatever it is to notice it. And if we can just notice it from this place of relaxed receptivity or place of rest or being relaxed about it, just not trying to push it away or pull it towards us, but that mirror mind I talk about, just letting it be there. And then by noticing it, and we'll notice when it's unpleasant and how we react to that. And when it's pleasant, how we react or respond to that. But it's really about noticing whether we're coming from fear or love and how that affects our ability to notice. And then when we're coming from love or this receptivity, this passive receptivity, coming from this alert relaxedness is really powerful. And then by seeing things, then we can see we have the possibility of noticing, relaxing, and letting go. And so even when we don't let go, we can notice that and we can learn how we get stuck, how we don't let go, how we grasp on or hold on to things, or it just can't let it go for whatever reason. It's not a judgment, just noticing that. So when I talk about relaxing, I'm talking about this being able to observe it from this relaxed alertness. When I talk about letting it go, I'm talking about dropping it, even if it means just bracketing and setting it aside for now and just redirecting our attention to something else. So a good example of this happened back in the day when I used to run a lot, and I was very fit in those days. I weighed 189 pounds or something like that. And I was working for this organization and we had a health fair. And in the health fair, they would measure your body fat. And so they measured my body fat. And before I got measured, I could hear a voice saying, it's got to be at least 5% or some ridiculous number, right? And so when they measured it, it was 11.2. And the negative committee or that inner critic started going, oh, you're fat, something you run every day and you do this. And it started like that. And I just noticed it. I relaxed about it. And I just said, I know where this is going. So I just let it go. I took it and I bracketed it and set it aside. Then I focused on the next thing. And so there was a noticing of it, the relaxing into it, even though it was uncomfortable, relaxing it, then letting it go or setting it aside. And so shortly after that, I was talking to a friend of mine who happened to be my chiropractor. And I said, yeah, I took this test and it was 11 point something. And he said, oh, that's great. He says the average is 13.2. And I started laughing. And he said, why are you laughing? I said, because I got to beat myself up. But I didn't do it because I knew better. I saw where this was going. I noticed, I relaxed, and I said, no, I'm just setting that aside. And then I just laughed and realized that that's the power of noticing, relaxing, and letting go. Is that even if we can't really let it go, we just decide to just not repress it or deny it, but just to set it aside and just redirect our attention to something else. Just go to the body of the breath and just be in the moment and reset, reboot, renew.